You've had a couple practices now. What's your take, your thoughts on how everybody's sort of coming together, getting this new team together now?
Very happy with attitudes. Guys are having fun. They're enjoying practice. They've been waiting a long time to get back out on the field. Spring ball is a great time because you're not worried about an opponent. You get to make yourself better. And for coaches, that's a blast. Another thing that's really neat for us is we're trying a lot of new guys in different spots. And we've had a lot of guys that haven't played that are getting reps in different spots. And so with that, it's a learning process. And it's for coaches, that's what we're in the business for. It's fun for us.
Who are some of those guys that are getting reps, new places, new spots?
Well, the quarterbacks. We got a couple new quarterbacks. One that graduated early, Travis, who hasn't played a lot because of injuries, back in the fold, and the transfer Dakota. Last year we played 4 running backs, but we're trying to do some different things with those guys. Evening out the reps. And then we're playing a lot of offensive linemen that have never played for us, that we redshirted last year, that are all doing good things.
So what about Charles Nelson? Has he been on the offensive side of the ball a lot, or?
Yeah, we're still doing both. Right now he's focusing on offense, but that's kind of a work in progress. We haven't decided what we're going to do there, but right now we're focusing on offense.
You didn't sign anybody in running back. Is Kurt Merritt maybe or somebody else maybe as a running back?
Kurt Merritt is working outside right now as a receiver, and then our running backs are Royce, Taj, Tony, and Kenai.
Dakota was saying yesterday that he's new, he's learning, he's still getting used to it. In the short time that you've sort of been around him, short time that you've seen him practice, what's your sort of early assessment?
His attitude's been incredible. He's doing everything that he can possibly do to get better. And to play in his situation, and really anyone's situation, when you haven't played before, you have to do a lot of time off the field, and he's doing that. When he's not in class, he lives in our building, and he's doing everything he can do to be successful. The hardest thing is it's a whole new language. Even though he's experienced and he's played football before, it's learning and processing before he can even play. And so he's just starting to pick that up, and each day you can tell he's getting more comfortable.
So did Coach Neal put up a big fight for Charles?
Well, he got here a little bit late, so I don't think he really understood what was going on. So we kind of snuck that in on him. And like I said, it's still up for grabs. I know they would be happy to have Charles full-time as well. But that's the neat thing about Charles is as a coach, he gives you a ton of options. But, last year he focused primarily on defense. And this year we want to make sure that he has a good foundation for offense, and then he still has the flexibility to do both.
Talking with Greatwood, he said, as an offensive coordinator, you're a little bit more detail-oriented maybe than Scott Frost was. I'm wondering, what kind of role do you want to develop as an offensive coordinator? I mean, what do you want to bring to this position?
I don't know about that. I know I am anal on things. Maybe that's what he was referring to. But the biggest thing as an offensive coordinator, it hasn't changed my role a lot other than I'm organizing more things, the whole general picture. I'm real fortunate because we have good coaches, and that's our players' attitude's been great, and they should be because they're eager to get on the field. But our coaches' attitude's been every bit as good, if not better, as far as just everyone doing their job and helping me out, making my job really easy.
I know you guys have your idea of what Oregon football is, but with the new quarterbacks coach, new offensive coordinator, new quarterbacks coming in, do you feel like that idea of Oregon football is changing a little bit on the offense?
Well, I hope not. When you think of Oregon football, I hope you think of good offense. I hope that part's not changing. We're always trying to get better at the things we do. We always study other people. And so, we're always going to have our base offense that we want to improve on, but there's going to be a wrinkle here and there. And so in that part, you never want to stay the same. You either get better or get worse. So there's always some new things, but it's not a big change. I think people, when they watch our offense, hopefully they'll see us just get better at what we've already been doing.
Greatwood's voice is also getting a bit hoarse and yelling at a few people just for the start of spring ball. Wondering how you're adjusting to these first 2 days.
That's good. Similar, we play the music so loud. Sometimes they can't hear you, no matter how loud you are. And Coach Greatwood's doing a great job. That's a big question mark for us. When I say question marks, it's got a bunch of guys that we're very excited about, but they're unproven, and so everything's new to those guys. And so every day they get a ton better, but it's a lot of little things. And so it doesn't matter how much the coaches know, it's about how much our players know. And like I said, they're doing everything they can to everything that we're asking of them. But we got, as coaches, what we're trying to do is just keep it simple so our guys can play. And that's our biggest challenge, because we all have a whole bunch of ideas, but what can our guys handle and execute and play fast at?
How are you distributing reps at quarterback right now?
So we're giving Dakota a lot of it's hard to rep 5 guys, but right now with Dakota in the mix, Travis and Terry, we want to give those guys the majority of the reps. And what we've explained to Jeff and Taylor, and they've been awesome, they've been studs. If you're new, the only way you can really learn what's going on is you have to be thrown into the fire. Okay, so we're throwing those guys into the fire, and they haven't proven it yet. They got to still prove it, but we want to see what they can do. And the only way you can do that is give those guys the majority of the reps. So that's kind of what we've been doing.
How's Terry looking so far?
Really good, really good. You know that there's so many things that go through the quarterback's head when he gets up to the line of scrimmage just to get the snap, to read the signal and to get the snap. And then that was day one. And now today, you can tell he was just so much more confident going out there. Okay, I understand that. I know how to line up. I can get the snap, and seeing everyone else and how everything else works. That's the biggest challenge for the quarterback, is they've got to know everyone's position. So it's harder, and the learning curve is a lot bigger. But his attitude's been awesome. You know, that's what we've told him and all those young guys. We know you're going to make a ton of mistakes. That's how you learn. If you're not making mistakes, we're probably not pushing the envelope. But we want you not to dwell on it. Learn from it and move on, and they've done great about that. You know, they're making mistakes, but they're moving on from them, and they're not making the same mistake twice.
Yesterday, Dakota said that Tyler Osborne was critical for him to even know what he was doing. What's his role within the offense, and then how's he been helping the quarterbacks specifically?
Sure. Well, with Tyler and Matt Neuer, those guys are quality controls / graduate assistants, and so they're allowed to, on their own time, if a quarterback wants extra information or wants to get with someone, they're allowed to help that guy out. And they do a great job, you know, and that's a big reason. You know, we pushed hard going into this spring to make sure those guys had roles with our football team, and they're taking advantage of them. And the reason they earned those roles is because of what they did last year.
At this time last year, you were in a different role. How are you adjusting to your new job?
Well, I'm enjoying it. You know, each day is a little bit different. There's new stuff. Again, what makes my job easy is I'm around a bunch of great coaches that make it easy on me. And what a coordinator does is just kind of interacts with other people and tries to organize the big picture. But it hasn't changed a ton. I mean, I'm still coaching the receivers. I try to get a little more involved with the other positions, and just making sure, you know, what time we're meeting, what time we're stopping. Hey, let's do a little more of this or a little less than this. And but it hasn't changed a ton. I still get here early and leave the exact same time, but I'm having a lot of fun doing it.
Pads aren't on yet, but are you seeing the athletic ability, the speed, the quickness in Dylan Mitchell that you thought you would see on film?
Sure, and that's very hard for a new guy to play with speed that we saw on tape, because they're thinking. And that's our goal as coaches, to get those guys to not think and just play, because then they actually play their speed. Even Devin Allen, who's one of the fastest people in the U.S., when he got here, he looked slow because he would get the signal, think, and then wouldn't play fast because he was thinking. So it takes those guys time. That's our biggest challenge as coaches, to get those guys in a process where they don't have to think, they can just react and just run. But he's ahead of where I thought he would be. He really is, and he's a special talent.